The worst crimes to be committed by Santa Claus, Part 1. In Atlanta, Georgia in 2004, Santa Claus was having a very typical picture day. At some point or another, he ended up getting super mad at a 74-year-old woman. Apparently, she tried stealing $100 worth of Hershey's chocolate from him. Now, I personally think that a 74-year-old woman isn't gonna steal a chocolate bar, or even 100 chocolate bars. But he got so mad at her that he would strike her with a 2x4 piece of wood. Santa Claus would then do it repeatedly over and over. She would then be rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately she would die shortly after. Santa Claus would then be sentenced to life in prison, as he should.
The Idaho murder. Hi, my name is Ethan, and let me explain more. For those of you who don't know, on November 13th at 11:58 a.m., police received a phone call stating that their roommate had passed out and was not waking up. When police arrived on the scene, they quickly realized that something more sinister happened in the home. 4 individuals were stabbed to death, and police believe that the attack happened around 3 o'clock a.m., which was shortly after everyone got home that night. Here are some things that I noticed. Number 1, stabbing someone is more personal than just attacking them in general. With that being said, I believe it was a targeted attack. The second thing is 2 of the victims were actually dating each other, and even though it wasn't confirmed, I'd assume that they were sleeping together in the same bed. With that being said, I believe that there is more than one attacker, because I feel like the others would have screamed. This entire case is all weird and up in speculation, but let me know what you guys.
In a tragic incident in Norwalk, Ohio, a 2-year-old toddler accidentally shot and killed his 8 months pregnant mother while playing with a gun he allegedly found in his parents' nightstand. The incident occurred when the mother, Laura Ligg, was doing laundry, and her son somehow gained access to the locked bedroom where the loaded semi-automatic pistol was kept. The father, Alec Ligg, who was at work during the incident, received a call from his wife urging him to call 911. When the police arrived, they found Laura LLG in her upstairs bedroom with her son and the loaded gun. She was conscious and able to tell the officers what had happened. Emergency responders rushed Laura to the hospital, where surgeons performed an emergency C-section. Tragically, her unborn child did not survive, and Laura was pronounced dead approximately 3 hours later. The investigation into how the toddler was able to fire the gun is ongoing. The police discovered 2 more firearms in the house during their search, a loaded 12-gauge shotgun in the couple's bedroom closet and an airsoft rifle in a computer room closet. Alec Ilg, devastated by the loss of his wife and unborn child, expressed his grief and paid tribute to them on Facebook. The case will be forwarded to the Huron County Prosecutor's Office for further review, but no charges have been filed yet.
John Jones was a husband and a recent father who decided to go cave exploring in the Nutty Putty Cave in Utah. While exploring with some friends, they decided to challenge themselves by passing through a narrow passageway that leads to a larger room, which was called the birth canal. John squeezed through the opening and made his way forward, only to realize that there was no larger opening. The group had missed the birth canal and were now crawling through a passageway that didn't lead to anywhere. John couldn't move forward anymore, and he could no longer turn back on his own. He was stuck upside down, with his hands pinned under him, with only his feet sticking out. Search and rescue came and set up a pulley system because drilling him out was too slow and too painful. But the pulley system could only work if they broke John's legs. After 27 hours stuck inside the cave upside down, John had died of positional asphyxiation. It was too dangerous and difficult to retrieve John's body from the cave, so authorities closed off that section. To this day, John remains wedged inside of the Nutty Buddy Cave.
Animals that have killed people. Travis the chimp. On the 16th of February 2009, Travis the chimp attacked his owner's friend Charla Nash. Travis brutally mauled Charla, causing her to get a full face transplant.
What's the problem there?
The chimp killed my friend!
What's the problem with your friend?
Oh, please!
What's the problem with your friend? I need to know.
Send the police up! With a gun! With a gun! Hurry
Who
up!
has a gun?
Please, hurry up! He's killing my girlfriend!
The 10-year-old serial killer. Viewer discretion is advised. This is Mary Bell, and she could easily be one of the most sadistic murderers in history, even though she was only 10 years old. Mary allegedly grew up being abused, and her mother would even sell her to other men at the age of 5. All of this abuse fueled this anger inside of her, and she had to find some sort of way to release it. On May 11th, 1968, Mary Bell was playing with a little 3-year-old toddler, and he mysteriously fell off of an air raid shelter. This was the start of her violent outrage. Just 2 weeks later, on March 25th, the boy Martin Brown's body was found dead inside of an abandoned building. It was later discovered that Mary lured this little boy into this abandoned building and strangled him with her bare hands. 2 years later, Mary then strangled a 3-year-old boy and carved the letter M into his stomach with a razor blade. And then she used scissors to cut and mutilate the body. Mary eventually confessed to this by writing notes because she was bragging about it, and the police arrested her. Here's the crazy thing. She was arrested and released just a couple years later, and today she could possibly still be alive. One of the terms for her confession was that after she was released, her name would be changed and everything. The latest information we have of her is pretty much she had a daughter when she got released, and nobody knows where she's at now. So what do you think? Do you think she should be forgiven because she was a child, or do you think that fire is still inside of her waiting to strike again? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and follow for
Tucked down a back road in the middle of nowhere, Texas, lies the house where they filmed the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a very spooky location. It's beautiful, but when I went at night one time, I had a very terrifying experience, which can be found in a video on my YouTube channel.
We know who Plain Lady is. We got her name. We got a lot of the story. And guys, click the plus sign. I've got a ton of stuff coming out. I know I look like a boiling hot mess. I just got out of the shower. I've been out in the sun all day, but I had to get this to you guys. We know who she is, and we've got those details. Make sure and watch to the end, and stay tuned for today and tomorrow's videos, because we are spilling it all. Let's jump in. I want to give credit where it's due. We have a YouTuber named Ashley who is friends of a friend, and here is the story on what is happening with Plain Lady right now.
Oh, this tea's fucking hot. You ready for me to spill it? I think you are. Come, take a seat. I've got an update on the Plain Lady. The one and only Plain Lady, a friend of a friend, is friends with her. Here's what we know. Number one, she's alive. She did not disappear. She was going on a cruise, which would explain the disappearance. And can you imagine going on vacation and then coming back to reality and realizing that you were a trending audio on all of social media? Fucking wild. Second of all, she was not drunk, not drinking, not drunk, which I have to be honest, I thought when I first initially saw the video, and I just want to clear that up because I know that there were a lot of people bashing her.
Can I just say that if this is true, and this woman Ashley has over 2 million followers, I think she probably has some credibility. Not 100%, but if this is true, your girl called it. I said I don't think she wants substances or anything, and she looks genuinely terrified. She's seen something, we just don't know what. And guys, make sure and stay tuned, because I have a part 2 to this. Part 2, guess what? She was right. There was a threat, a possible, alleged threat, allegedly on the plane. Stay tuned for that. Click the plus sign. I've got more. Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think this is real? But we also got more. We got a name.
Harold Shipman is one of the deadliest serial killers in history. He was a doctor in England, and his victims were his patients. He would give them a lethal dose of diamorphine, sign their death certificates, falsify their medical records to make it look like they were sick, and then try to convince their families to cremate them so there was no evidence. And this went on for years. It's estimated he killed up to 250 people, and about 80% of them were elderly women. His last victim is how he got caught. In 1998, he killed 81-year-old Kathleen Grundy and made a horrible forgery of her will, leaving everything in her estate to himself. But her daughter noticed and notified the police. He was tried for 15 of his victims and received life imprisonment, but only 4 years into his sentence, he killed himself.
And they were both found dead. She must have been out of her head.
Oh my god, this is literally the dumbest man on earth. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. On June 26, 2023, Patrick Profright and his wife were having an argument. Now, they had just had a baby that was only 3 weeks old, so the argument was early in the morning, which is understandable because they are suffering from lack of sleep and just a whole new adjustment. While Patrick's wife was holding the baby, Patrick entered the room holding a crossbow. The mood immediately shifted, and trigger warning, it's about to get dark. park. He allegedly raised the bow and shot at his wife. When he did, it accidentally hit his 3-week-old baby and his wife. He then pulled the arrow out of his wife and begged her not to call 911, but when she did regardless, he fled the scene. Thankfully, he was found and arrested and charged with second-degree murder and attempted, and his wife was okay. Unfortunately, the baby did pass away.
This was the moment Cameron Herron realized he was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Cameron was a normal 18-year-old boy living in Tampa, Florida in 2018. He had also recently graduated high school, and to congratulate him, his parents got him a black Ford Mustang. On May 23, 2018, Cameron and his brother Tristan had gone to a local gym. While they were there, they had also run into an old friend of theirs named John Barreneau. Once they were done at the gym, all three of the friends got into their cars. Cameron and Tristan were in the black Ford Mustang, while John was in his own car. As they approached a street light, both of the cars were side by side, and that's where they got the brilliant idea to do some street racing. Both of the cars sped up very quickly, reaching over 100 miles an hour. At the same time, a mother and her young child were crossing the street. Unfortunately, the cars were just going way too fast in order for her to make it across the street in time. Her name was Jessica and her daughter's name was Lilia. And unfortunately, it was a direct hit. John was able to swerve past her, but unfortunately, Cameron ended up hitting her head on. All Cameron could do was watch Jessica and Lilia's bodies fly into the air as he hit them. Moments after the crash, Jessica's husband David Robinalt passed by in his own car. At the time that he was passing by, he had no idea that his wife had just been involved in a major accident. He noticed there was a huge crowd of people looking at the accident, but he just wanted to get home and hope that no one had gotten hurt too badly. David then tried to call his wife, but she wasn't answering, and when he went home, she wasn't there either. He then figured that she must have seen the accident, so he went to go see for himself. And when he got there, that's when he noticed that his wife and baby stroller was right there in the middle of the street. Immediately, chills went down his spine when he realized that his wife and daughter had been the victims of this horrible accident. Unfortunately, Jessica passed away the same day as the accident, and Lilia tried to fight, but she passed away the following day. Immediately, both Cameron and John were charged since they were the ones driving. John took a plea deal and was given 6 years in prison with 15 years of probation. Cameron took an open plea, but to his surprise and his family's surprise, he was given 24 years in prison. And right away, people were absolutely torn about this decision. The judge believed that Cameron had shown no remorse, and he also had a history of racing recklessly. Meanwhile, supporters of Cameron believed that the punishment was way too harsh, considering that he was 18 years old when the entire thing happened. And today, he's still in prison. Let me know what you guys think.
TikTokers Who Did Terrible Things, Episode 24. Muhammad El Aboud, otherwise known as Muhammad Arabu 25 on TikTok. Creator class type, internet gangster. Specialty, fake it till you make it. Claim to fame, murder. Well, this 28-year-old out of Romania began posting on the platform in March of 2019. And most of his content involved himself lip-syncing along to some of his favorite songs, or duetting a few videos. And over the course of around 3 years, he had only accumulated about 6,000 followers on TikTok. That being said, this is obviously not why his name is currently in headlines all over the world. So many of you may have seen this clip floating around by now, being reposted with little to no explanation whatsoever. Well, have no fear, allow us to fill you in. See, this particular video, filmed in 2021, shows Muhammad dancing along to a slowed down version of Yeah by Usher, all while standing in front of a $1.3 million home in North London. And while at first you might be thinking, hey Slamurai, what's the big deal? Yeah, well, when you find out, just the day prior, he, along with another friend named Kusai, had murdered the owner of that property, you may just change your mind. In addition to this, there was another video floating around that has since been removed from his page, showing Muhammad flexing this woman's home mere hours after he had taken her life. And here's what went down. For months and months, Muhammad and Kusai had been trying to find a way to lure her to that property in order to murder her, get the deed for the house, and steal her entire life savings. Well, on July 27th of 2021, they succeeded in doing so by meeting her in the house house and strangling her with a cord from a hairdryer. They would then place her into a garbage bin outside the house, sell her BMW to an unsuspecting buyer, even going as far as to lead a false trail of her whereabouts by making false purchases with her bank card. Heck, they even texted an elaborate story to Louise's family, stating she had just stolen 13 million pounds and was fleeing back to China. And I mean, while their plan seemed pretty solid on paper, these were two of the sloppiest criminals of all time. Not only were they caught on camera disposing Louise's body into that garbage bin, they were also caught on camera doing the following: moving her BMW, stealing cleaning supplies, bringing those cleaning supplies back into her home, and her remains were literally found on the same street Kusai lived on. And the story doesn't end there. After they were actually caught, they went on to say that she had actually defrauded them, stealing the 13 million pounds mentioned in that text message earlier. Now keep in mind, local sources have stated these guys hardly ever even had 13 pounds in their bank account. So yeah, not the brightest tools in the shed. And lastly, you may be asking if this happened in 2021. Why is this story just now going absolutely viral? Well, just a few days ago on February 1st, both Muhammad and Kusai were sentenced to 35 years in prison without the possibility of parole, therefore placing Muhammad on our list of
She was so jealous of her 3-year-old stepdaughter that she unalived her. The case of Ariana Stout. This case is absolutely heartbreaking because this family has lost so much. So back in 2013, Ariana's parents, Aaron and Jessica Stout, began dating. Now Jessica already had a daughter from a previous relationship, but Aaron took that daughter in and loved her like his own. And then in 2015, the couple welcomed another little girl, Ariana. This couple had their whole lives ahead of them. They had a wonderful marriage, wonderful children, loving, supportive family. But only 2 years after they had Ariana, in June of 2017, Jessica had a stroke. And this came out of nowhere because Jessica was still very young. Ariana's mother, Jessica, was taken to the hospital in Salt Lake City. That's when Aaron and Jessica's family found out she would not survive the stroke. Sadly, in 2017, Jessica passed away, leaving 2 little girls, her husband, and her parents behind. Their family was absolutely heartbroken. Aaron was now a single father of 2 daughters. No one in this family knew what they were going to do, especially Aaron. This couple had literally just started their own little family, and then it was just ripped apart. Aaron continues to pick up the pieces and raise his 2 daughters. So time goes by, and Aaron meets McKinley. They hit it off pretty quickly, and McKinley seems to love his children just as much as he does. So Aaron and McKinley move in and get married and start their own little family, and they too would welcome their own son. But unfortunately, Aaron didn't know that something very dark was lurking beneath the surface of his new wife. Let me just say, from everything I've researched, Aaron was a great husband, a great father, a good friend. He really tried to do best by his wife and children. And it was really hard on him to start a new relationship after he lost Jessica so suddenly. But he really put all his cards into this relationship and tried to make it work. And from what everyone else could tell, from the outside, they seemed like a happy family. And as far as Aaron knew, they were a happy family. McKinley would even make Facebook posts about how much she loved her stepdaughter. November 24th, 2018, McKinley posted, "My daughter Ariana had such a blast getting to watch this amazing lady and the other members perform tonight at the Vernal Holidays Festival. I have seen such a beautiful smile on my daughter's face tonight that lit up the night for me as a proud mom to see her daughter so happy." McKinley would often post pictures of her and Ariana together. April 26th, McKinley posted, "Giving up is not an option when you have someone calling you mommy." Everyone around this couple really thought that McKinley loved her stepdaughters, and it really seemed like she especially clinged to Ariana. But nobody, including Aaron, could foresee what was about to happen to little Ariana. Until March 14th, 2019, police were called to the home of McKinley and Aaron Stout. McKinley told police that Ariana was choking on food, but according to the officer who responded to the call, Ariana had been down for a long period of time. The officer said she was unresponsive, not breathing, and cold to the touch. The police officer noticed dark purple and black bruising in the front and on top and inside of the left ear. It was immediately apparent that these injuries were not consistent with the details initially provided for the medical response. Ariana was rushed to Ashley Regional Medical Center, but around an hour later, despite doctors' best efforts, Ariana was pronounced dead, literally 2 months shy of her 4th birthday. An autopsy was done, but was not released right away. But the medical examiner found that Ariana had died from asphyxiation due to smothering. The only 2 other people in the home at the time was McKinley and Ariana's baby brother, who was only like a year old. There is no way this toddler could have caused his sister's fatal injuries. So on the same day that the autopsy was released, police interviewed McKinley again. And McKinley admitted to police that she smothered Ariana. She said she used a blanket on Ariana's bed. But then she said something that absolutely absolutely shocked police. She told police she had been planning this for several days. I personally think she'd been planning this for a lot longer, but that's just my opinion. She described to police every little movement that Ariana made during the struggle. McKinley didn't call 911 herself. She called a friend and told them that Ariana was choking, and that friend called 911. Then later, McKinley called Ariana's biological grandmother on her mother's side and told her that Ariana was choking, and the grandma was like, "What are you doing? Call 911, go to the hospital." And McKinley said, "Ariana is already at the hospital." So grandma was like, "Well, where are you?" McKinley said, "I'm at home with the baby." And that was really weird to the grandma. So McKinley was arrested after her interview and confession with police. She has since been charged with murder and child abuse. Now at first, Aaron was defending McKinley because he couldn't believe that she would do something like this to his baby, because McKinley seemed to love Ariana so much. But once the autopsy results were released, Aaron knew the truth, and he stopped defending McKinley altogether. So this family not only lost Ariana's mother, Jessica, but then they lost Ariana too. Jessica's mother was absolutely heartbroken. I can't imagine what they went through after losing their daughter and then their granddaughter so soon at such young ages. It's just not right. None of it is fair.
They became the real-life Scream Killers. Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk met in high school, becoming fast friends over a shared love of cinema. In September of 2006, the pair decided to make their own movie. Creating a death list of targets and hoping to become the real-life Scream Killers, they had friend and fellow student Cassie Jo Stoddard at the top of their list. On September 21st, they recorded themselves plotting the murder.
We're going for a high death count.
We're not going not to get caught, Brian. If we're going for guns, we're just going to end it. We're just going to grab the guns and get out of there, kill everybody and leave.
We're going to make history. We're going to make history.
For all you FBI agents watching this, you weren't quick enough.
We were quick enough and you weren't smart enough. And we're going over today, Nixon's house. We're gonna go snoop around over there and try to see if she's home alone or not. And if she's home alone, splat! She did.
Don't put your humor into this, Brian.
I'm not putting any humor into it. Yep. People will die. Memories will fade.
Memories will fade. I wonder what movie you got that from, Brian.
Myself. That was for myself.
No wonder it was so lame.
We're gonna go to the church over there and we're gonna call a girl and a guy named Cassie and Matt. They're our friends, but we have to make sacrifices, so I feel tonight it is the night, and I feel really weird, inside my stomach and stuff, and I feel like I want to kill somebody. I know that's not normal, but what the hell?
I feel we need to break away from normal life.
How bright is this light?
We are also taught that things like killing people and other thing is wrong. The only thing that it's wrong about is because it's breaking the law, and the law is only wrong. The law
Natural selection, dude.
Because
natural selection. That's all I gotta say.
There should be no law against killing people. I know it's a wrong thing, but hell, you restrict somebody from it, they're gonna want it more.
Exactly. We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie Stoddard and her friends.
Turn your brights off, asshole.
Well, yeah, we'll find out if she has friends over. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get? I mean, like, holy shit, dude.
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna fucking kill her and her friends, and we're gonna keep moving on. I heard some news about Kirsten. She's gonna be home alone from 6 to 7. So we might kill her, then drive over to Cassie's thing, and scare the shit out of them, then kill them one by fucking one. Hell yeah.
Why 1 by 1? Why can't it be a
2 by 2 and 3 by 3?
Bad!
We're bad.
We're bad.
That sounds so shitty.
We're evil. That's not even shittier.
We're not, okay? Then we're sick psychopaths then I get pleasure of killing other people.
That sounds good, baby.
We're gonna go down in history. We're gonna be just like Scream, except real life terms. We're gonna be murderers.
Baby.
Like, let's see, Ted Bundy, like the Hillside Strangler, the Zodiac Killer.
Those people are more amateurs compared to what we're gonna be.
The boys knew that Cassie would be house-sitting her aunt and uncle's house the following night. On the evening of September 22nd, Cassie invited over her boyfriend Matt as well as Brian and Tori to watch some movies. Brian and Tori left after about an hour, telling them that they were going to go to a local theater. But they first unlocked a basement door. They went to their vehicle, changed their clothes, armed themselves with sharp knives, and donned white masks. They crept into the basement, cut the power, and tried to make noise and draw the couple down into the basement. As you can imagine, the couple was terrified, and Cassie desperately wanted Matt to spend the night, but his mother wouldn't allow it. At about 10:30 p.m., Matt left, leaving Cassie alone in the house. Shortly after, they rushed upstairs and stabbed Cassie 30 times, with 12 of them being fatal. The two 16-year-olds then fled back to their car, recording their reactions of the grisly murder.
Just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a fucking joke. I stabbed her in the throat and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck. That felt like it wasn't real. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the fuck up. We gotta get our act straight.
It's okay. Okay, let's buy movie tickets now.
Okay.
Come on.
No.
Goodbye.
As they were some of the last to see her alive, they were also one of the first to be interviewed. They quickly broke down, tried to put the blame on one another, and said it was all supposed to be just a joke. Brian led authorities to Black Rock Canyon, to the spot where they discarded their masks, weapons, clothes, and videotapes. An attempt to burn the tapes proved unsuccessful, and they were used against them in court. The pair were tried as adults despite being under 18 years old. They both received life without the possibility of parole.